Cool. Well, my name is, are we good?
We're good, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is Nate Rivnak, and super stoked to be here with you guys to tell you a little bit about the Zeal brand. Taking over for Austin. I've been with the brand almost 6 years now on the marketing side, and most recently moved out to California to rep Zeal on the sunglass and goggles side before coming out to Utah. So Utah holds a special place in my heart. It was the first time I ever skied out west from Michigan, and I really, for the first time, was exposed to like true powder and real mountains. So stoked to be back here and kind of waving the flag for Zeal. This year is particularly exciting with the release of the Portal XL and our patented rail lock system. So for those of you who aren't familiar, the claim to fame that won 6 Best of Show awards last OR SIA, this trade show that happens every year in Denver now, awarded us the quickest and best quick change lens on the market. So what you see here in front of me is our Portal XL, which is new to the 1920 season. And you'll see essentially with RLS 2 rails on the backside of the lens, 2 channels that the rails slide into on the frame itself, and then they're held in place with 2 magnets at the bottom. And so it's an easy solution to be able to handle the elements in the outdoors too. You don't have to worry about a whole array of different lenses. We just have each and every one of our RLSs that come with 2 lenses. So the one that you see standard, and then a low light lens for full cloudy low light days as well. So Zeal is based out of Boulder, Colorado, like I mentioned. It was a company that started in '97, and to this day is still independently owned. Our parent company is Maui Jim, and they are the industry leaders on quality and craftsmanship in their optics. So at the core, Zeal is truly an optics-focused brand. We are from the mountains, for the mountains, and the Rockies are home to a myriad of 14ers, and much like Salt Lake City, just a mecca for the outdoors. So we align ourselves with eco-conscious, true outdoor enthusiasts and advocates, ambassadors, to bring the brand to life and to provide us with valuable feedback to withstand the elements. We pride ourselves in kind of a simple mission statement, which is use less, give back, and explore more. And so being more than just an optics brand, we do this through our partnerships, everything from our packaging to our products to even how we build our headquarters with beetle kill and reusable, recyclable materials. So by using less, for instance, in our packaging, we have soy-based inks, we have beetle kill throughout the offices as well, which is, you know, a huge issue out in Colorado and here in Utah as well. I think destroying something like over 70% of our forests, and we also partner with the Forest Stewardship certified certification as well for our catalogs and everything that goes out, and everything that you see from head to toe from the brand basically is as eco-conscious as possible. And so some of the nonprofit organizations that we align ourselves with through the initiative Connect and Protect, which is really at the core of the brand, what we strive to accomplish and empower our users to do as well, is SOS Outreach. They're based out of Vail, Colorado. And they're a nonprofit organization that works with at-risk youth, and they provide leadership opportunities in the outdoor to empower the youth of tomorrow through inspiration and motivation and outdoor leadership opportunities. The National Forest Foundation is a new partnership for us. So with every pair of goggles sold now through the end of the year, we will plant a tree with the National Forest Foundation in areas that are most in need of it. For instance, out in California with the California fires that are happening in northern and southern California. And then just one more as an example, the Zeal Foundation is a nonprofit out of Nepal, and we work with those less fortunate who otherwise wouldn't have access to polarized eyewear to really protect their eyes from the elements. For every 1,000 feet roughly, the UV and sun exposure is magnified by 10%. And so being able to provide them with lightly used polarized goggles or sunglasses really helps the long-term health of their eyes and their vision to keep their minds inspired as well. And then most notably perhaps is 1% for the planet. Are you guys familiar with 1% by chance? Have you heard of it? It was started by Patagonia, and through this organization, it's really a level of certification, but 1% of all gross sales for the company go towards these nonprofits that I mentioned. I'm going to turn the volume up on this. So here's a little overview on our lens technology that we'll dive into next, and some of our sustainability initiatives at the manufacturers that we work with as well. Nope. It was just going. One moment. Let's try it again. There we go.
At Zeal.
Can everybody see this?
At Zeal Optics, our focus is on using less resources in every aspect of our business. On the goggle side, we have partnered with a factory that takes a very similar approach and focuses on 6 key areas. First is water recycling. Rather than dumping polluted water into the river, our goggle manufacturer cleans and reuses water using cutting-edge technology. By neutralizing the pH level of the use water, they put specific, safe, biological treatments into the water before aerating it and making it clean enough to recycle. Second is air purification. Our factory uses carbon absorption and catalytic combustion to clean the pollutants in the air within their factory. This makes it safer for their employees and produces much less pollution into the environment. Third is by using renewable energy. One way they are reducing their emissions is installing new solar panels throughout their buildings. Since 2015, they have completed the installation of brand new solar panels on 2 of the 3 buildings. Next is recycling waste and used materials. First, solid waste is recycled, such as aluminum, plastic, glass, etc. And defective product and scrap materials are ground up to be used to make new goggles. The next focus is on carbon offsets. Just like with Zeal's Buy a Goggle Plant a Tree program, our goggle factory plants more than 10,000 square feet of new forest each year. Finally, they focus on their employee commitment. We are proud to say that our factory has focused highly on their employees with 8-hour work shifts, beautiful break rooms, free snacks, full kitchens, and games to increase their employees' morale. They believe, like we do, that a happy workforce will produce a better product for their customers.
So kind of a cool video to highlight and really show some transparency around the behind the scenes making of the product and just the quality of those relationships that we've developed on the manufacturing side. So what really makes the lens unique? I'll go into some of the lens technology next. In the entry level option, essentially we have 3 different lens collections, and we'll start with Optimum. The technology will build upon this foundational option in Optimum as well. So we'll start with the Everclear Anti-Fog. This comes with each and every one of our lenses. It's a dual lens as well, and the anti-fog is constructed throughout the entirety of the lens. So unlike other goggle options, you don't have to worry about it wearing off over time every time you clean it. And this is a hydrophilic infusion, which withstands fogging for more than 2 times the industry standard, so just around like 3.5 minutes. And this provides clear vision no matter the conditions. So no matter how hot-headed, for instance, you are, you'll start to see that hydrophilic infusion take effect, and even more so on the back side of the lens. You can try to heat it up and you'll start to see that evaporate. That said, I think any goggle company that says their goggles won't fog is not necessarily telling you the truth. It is possible to get them to fog. Your head, when you think about it, is really the only place for heat to escape, and so oftentimes it just boils down to heat management, right? If you're wearing like a balaclava, a face mask of sorts, or if you're taking your goggles on and off, putting them on top of your head, they'll tend to fog up. So we always recommend making sure that the fit is solid, is really providing a good kind of seamless closure with whatever sort of helmet you're wearing as well. The next feature in the Optimum is our PermaShield hard coat. This is a clear optical grade hard coat, and it bonds with the lens surface to resist scratches and protect mirror finishes as well. This is a UV cured finish for prolonged protection. And so again, we always recommend with each and every one of our goggles that when you're not wearing it, you keep it in a non-abrasive cleaning cloth. And just like any pair of quality optics, you know, you take good care of it and only clean it when the moisture is, I guess, wet enough and there's no ice on it. So you might want to make sure that it's room temperature before you fully wipe off the lens. But the hard coat is built to protect it from the elements as well. And then the last notable feature is the hydrophobic oleophobic coating. So what that means is it's just a fancy word for basically the outside of the lens has a coating that protects it from smudges, oil, fingerprints, and makes it easier to clean. And so whereas the hydrophilic coating on the inside of the lens helps deter fog and kind of spreads the water beads apart, the hydrophobic coating brings it together and helps kind of collect those beads to make it easier to clean. There's a vacuum application which eliminates distortion, and this is featured on all our mirrored lenses as well. And then another thing worth mentioning is our color filtration. So in the kind of a more deep dive, if you want to nerd out about lighting, but there's different wavelengths, some of which can be harmful to your eye, and the 400 to 700 nanometer wavelengths are all considered well within the color spectrum of good light. The harmful blue light is what's considered an issue for, you know, causing macular degeneration and other eye issues, and so that's your high energy visible light. That's like your ultraviolet light, for instance. And ours filter out the harmful light and enhance your visibility for that positive light that everybody wants to experience in deep color, clarity, and contrast. And so again, with that UV protection, each one of our lenses will protect against that HEV and the harmful UV ABC rays. And this goes a little bit into the benefits of polarization, but essentially polarized lenses are sunscreen for your eyes, right? And so general polarization will be able to block any of the glare or light scattering that occurs, especially on the slopes. A fun fact is that snow actually reflects upwards of 88% more light than other surfaces like asphalt or grass. And so it's, in our opinion, even more important to have polarized lenses on the slopes. I think there's this misnomer too that like polarization doesn't allow you to see ice, for instance, in low light conditions. But our lenses are 95% polarized, and so you can still get the color, clarity, and contrast but you'll still be able to, in fact, see the icy spots as well. And so kind of covered why polarized. Here's a breakdown of some of the reflection that happens off of different surfaces. Ironically enough, most people wear polarized sunglasses while driving, and so you'll see the majority of people out and about wearing polarized eyewear. It's kind of accepted more so on an everyday basis, but on the slopes is where light is reflected the most. And so I think there's an educational opportunity there too, just to ask, what people prefer, why, and how they feel about polarized. And we've always stuck to that story. You'll start to see some other goggle companies come out and tout the benefits of polarized lenses, especially last year and with what's to come as well. But we always believe in the kind of power of polarization. So another thing that I wanted to touch on is our different goggles. We have both a spherical and a cylindrical goggle option, and right now these portals are all spherical, which means there is an equal amount of curvature on the X and Y axis, kind of that fishbowl effect, and that really helps broaden your vision, right? And so you get really generous peripherals. But the benefit of a cylindrical lens in this style called the hatchet, for instance, is that it sits a little bit closer to the face, and so it's a slimmer profile. And you don't get as much distortion. It's a tapered lens as well. Each and every one of Zeal's lenses are fully tapered, and so it won't compromise your vision, but it's just a matter of personal preference. So this goes into our different lens collections. From, let's see, your left to right, we have our Optimum Polarized, and Optimum Polarized Automatic Plus. And to make it as easy as possible for you guys to kind of know the difference, like I mentioned, the technology builds on one another, but it's also color coded. So all of the Optimum options are red. All the polarized options are going to be color coded with green on the packaging, and then the Automatic Plus is going to be blue. You guys can take a look at those after too. But what makes Optimum so unique, we touched on some of the features already. PermaShield Hard Coat, Everclear Anti-Fog, the color filtration, blocks 100% of the harmful UVA, B, C rays, and the hydro and oleophobic coating. And so that's kind of the entry price point, which starts at $169 at retail. There's a variety of different lenses in this collection as well. Everything as dark as your dark gray here on the left, which sits at 8% VLT. It's a measure of the amount of light that's being transmitted through the lens, to our lightest option, the sky blue mirror, at 65%. And so you have from splitter bluebird days to fully nuking overcast flat light days, every lens option in between. And these ones in the middle are all rose based, and they have either a phoenix mirrored green flash or what we call our alchemy mirror. And then next in the lens collection is our Optimum Polarized. And so this includes all the features that I just mentioned in the Optimum collection. But in addition to that, it comes with a 95% polarized efficiency, which helps cut glare and reflected light. It blocks 95% of that harmful blue or high energy visible light. It reduces risk of long-term eye damage, protects from eye fatigue, and you get a heightened color definition and detail. Do you guys personally have polarized sunglasses or goggles? Do you guys have a preference of your polarization, or if you're on the slopes, off the slopes? Do you guys have different lenses for different conditions? Yeah? Which one do you tend to gravitate towards, out of curiosity?
Are you talking about how dark they are or light they are?
Both, yeah. Just like your personal preference in lenses and whether or not they're polarized.
I like polarized one
Yeah.
more than regular ones in any condition.
Yeah, and
Because I feel like I can see little details much more.
sure. And what's interesting too, and I've seen this time and time again, being in the industry, but you'll see somebody with kind of maybe a pair of gas station sunglasses or polarized goggles that might not be upwards of 95% polarized efficiency, and they'll take their eyewear off and they'll rub their eyes, right? And it's because your eye actually has to work harder to kind of correct during high sunny conditions where you're trying to cut through that glare, or the light is being scattered and it's being exposed to the back of your eyes, right? So when you wear high quality polarized sunglasses, it's like you're in the back seat. You can finally just like relax, and it's almost this notable difference of your eye having to work less. And people get headaches and migraines or all sorts of benefits, but yeah, it's fascinating. I think the lack of awareness around what polarization can do to enhance your time outdoors, really.
And you guys, that is our only polarized or goggle. In the
Is it
store.
really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't
They
know that.
are the Zeals.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cuts glare and sees, but you can see better, obviously. Yeah, I could go on and on about it, but if you haven't experienced polarized lenses before, I highly encourage you to do so, just so you can really speak to the difference from a first-hand perspective. And we'll be happy to extend a handsome discount or be able to make that happen for you guys as well. So the Optimum Polarized Collection, new to this year, we have got a polarized dark gray. Again, sits at a VLT of 8%. That's our darkest lens available. And then we also have our polarized Phoenix, polarized Jade, and then the polarized Bluebird HT. That stands for high transmission. It's a yellow-based lens. It's for your kind of brightest, highest contrast in that flat light. And then I saved the best for last, in my opinion, our polarized automatic plus. Kind of a mouthful. You can just call it automatic plus. Worth mentioning, at the bottom left of every single lens, you'll see the name of the lens that comes on it, the lens collection. And what makes this lens entirely unique is that it combines all of the previous features, but it's also photochromic. And so it's really, for the brand, our one lens fits all solution. It's a go-to and an industry-leading lens that offers the dynamic range between 18 and roughly 33% VLT. And so you get the benefit of essentially all different lenses and lens options in a single lens. And it's able to change based off of its exposure to direct UV light. And so for somebody who just wants to keep it simple, for somebody who's looking for the convenience of not having to swap out lenses when the sun breaks, or if it's foggy in the morning and then it burns off and it turns out to be just a perfect Bluebird day, this is our go-to lens. That's the one we'd recommend. And personally, I've been riding in this lens for the past 5 seasons now, and you'll rarely see me without it. So I definitely am a huge advocate for it. Other companies have both polarized and photochromic lenses, and you might see the range that the photochromic lens can change be much bigger in our competitors, but the larger the range, the less polarized efficiency you can have in a lens. And so the polarization of our competitors might just be like less than 50%, anywhere from 20 to 50%, but the range could be 10 to 90%. And so what we pride ourselves in is really finding that sweet spot of having kind of the best of both, where we really want to have a lens that's able to change according to the different light conditions and be advantageous in both high and mid and low light conditions, while still offering that 95% polarized efficiency. Did that make sense? So from sun to snow, the photochromic technology and polarized protection is baked right into that single lens. This photochromic option comes in 3 different lenses: a automatic plus rose base, automatic plus gray base, and an automatic plus yellow base. Again, it's just a matter of personal preference. The gray base is kind of the truest to form as far as what color you experience out of the lens, whereas the rose is kind of going to accentuate colors a little bit more for deeper contrast, and then our yellow is going to be for those individuals looking for the biggest contrast and kind of in the lowest of light. Alright, so let's see. Kind of went over the rail lock system as well. I'll pass this around so you guys can play with it, but I always tell people, you know, it will take just a little bit of practice to get used to swapping this in and out and lining the rails up with the channels, but it's like a garage door, right? So you want to align the bottom of the rails with the top of the channels, and you guys can test that out for yourself. You'll hear it guide, slide, and lock right into place, and it's held in place, as I mentioned, with those 2 magnets at the bottom. And so the Portal XL is going to be our largest goggle option. This is kind of for the big bones, 6+, perhaps, you know, backcountry burly skier or snowboarder just looking for full coverage. That's large to extra large fit and vision, whereas the Portal is a medium fit with a large view. And then next is our hatchet. So those are our 3 RLS options. That's our cylindrical lens with a medium fit, large view as well. And then I can pull these out afterwards too, but this is a new style called the Hemisphere, which is our partially framed goggle. You'll notice kind of a hard line up top to be compatible with just about every helmet out there. The only helmets that really don't mesh perfectly with some Zeal goggles is, and we always recommend, you know, customers bring in their helmets to test it out with, but those helmets with a brim that have kind of like an aggressive curve to it, you might just see a little bit of a gap there. So always worth mentioning to ensure the best fit possible. And then Nomad, this is our full frame collection. This is a medium fit, medium view as well. And that's really it for goggles, so just 5 different styles there. So going into frame tech, worth mentioning, so each and every one of our goggles, thank you, comes with a dual venting system up top and below. The upper and lower venting and wicking fabrics regulate interior airflow and ensure fogging is kept at bay. The straps as well have a silicone no-slip grip to them, so whether you're wearing a beanie or a helmet, rest assured it'll stay in place. Then the Portal XL is also a true OTG goggle. Do you guys know what that means? Over the glass. So if they're wearing you know, their prescription glasses, they don't have to compromise their style and their safety. And we also include a triple layer foam in each one of our goggles as well to ensure maximum comfort and fit, and then a dual strap system so you can customize the fit to the face as well. This is what one of our RX inserts look like, and they can, if you have prescription customers that come in and they're looking for different alternatives, this retails for just $25, so they can take that to their local optometrist and get that prescription added, and then it fits in each and every one of our goggles.
So which one is OTG? All of them?
Nope, just the Portal XL. Yep.
But you can put that into all of them.
But you can, exactly, thank you. Yep.
So that's almost like a lens as well?
Yeah, it's just a little plastic insert, and it's flexible, so you can get your prescription filled. I think upwards of like +3 to -6.5 or something. It's a pretty generous RX parameter, and then you can just pop that right into any goggle.
Pretty much any eyewear replacement for the
Yep.
Zeals?
Yep.
Wow. That's pretty bad.
So the Zeal optics difference, really, like I mentioned, Zeal is more than just an eyewear company. We focus on our lens technology first and foremost to help you see more of the mountains and experience a better time in the places that we've come to know and love outdoors. Built from the mountains, for the mountains, and you're not just buying a pair of goggles, but being brought into the Zeal Optics family and what we stand for as well. As far as warranty goes, we always, beyond our warranty, work to find a solution, whether it's a replacement program or if they want to look to get a different pair of lenses, for instance, after several years of wear and tear. It does come with a manufacturer's defect 2-year warranty, and we'll always repair or replace at our discretion. The turnaround time is crazy fast as well. Jim and Zeal Optics is known for 5 to 7 days typically. And then replacement lenses, depending on the collection, is $50 for Optimum, $100 for Optimum Polarized, $150 for the Automatic Plus. And that's it. I'll open it up to questions if you guys have any. And I also have some swag that I can quiz you guys on and hand out as well.
Is there any other companies that do that? The lens inside where you can.
I'm not aware, honestly. Yeah, I haven't heard of any.
What was your
Have like
question?
a lens you can put in there. With
The RX insert.
Oh yeah, Smith does that, I believe. But
Yeah.
it's not the lens on the outside. It's like an insert. Yeah, like that. Like
Okay.
this.
Pretty
Like, that fits inside.
standard then.
Yeah.
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 So there's a few companies in.
Yeah.
Do you have
I
a
wear
prescription?
contacts, yeah.
You wear contacts, yeah. Yeah, and so that's the
When I
other
had
thing.
glasses, that was before.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think a lot of people are concerned about like airflow, and that might determine whether or not they wear their prescription glasses or contacts because their eyes will water up if the fit isn't just right. And so really ensuring that the goggles provide enough coverage and kind of a secure enough closure as well. Especially with Asian fit, we have some Asian fit styles coming out in 2021, and essentially it just provides an additional layer of foam here so that there isn't that airflow happening for certain individuals. So just know that there's always those kind of obstacles or questions that might be worth asking to ensure the best possible solution.
So how do they go about taking a prescription for eyewear and getting the lenses? What's the process in that?
So do you guys have any of these RX inserts currently?
I don't.
Okay. If you're interested in getting some, we can definitely make that happen.
Okay, cool.
But we just educate people that it's an option, and then we would refer them to the closest optometrist.
So they come and buy
It doesn't
that.
have to be a Maui Jim or Zeal dealer.
So they would
Zeal
just come
partner.
buy that plastic insert for $25. If
Yep.
I'm understanding it correctly. And then they just take that plastic insert
To their
down
optician.
the,
Oh, okay.
and he scratches it down to, I
Yeah.
think that's how it works basically with glasses. He's basically making
An
some
RX, a
glasses
prescription. Yeah, placing
out of
them right in
that
there.
Out of their
piece.
lens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right, is it, right?
That's pretty cool.
No, haven't had much help for it.
I don't think a lot of people know.
Oh, can you hand me that bag?
Yeah.
Thanks. So I'll start with some easy questions. Any other questions for me before I quiz you? You guys have to have some questions. Come on, put me on the spot. It can be anything.
What were the prices for all of the different ones?
So $159 for the Optimum, $229 for the polarized option, and then $289 for the automatic plus.
I own a pair of your Zeal sunglasses.
Yeah.
Mountain bike. They're the polarized automatic plus.
Awesome.
And they're
Yeah.
like the coolest thing because they're like, it's nice and sunny, and then I'll go
Dude,
through
yes.
trees and
Love
shady
hearing
and
that.
dark, and then I can see.
They're
Like,
great
before
for
the beginning of the year. I just had my regular electrics one.
Yeah.
lens, dark. So when I went into the shade, I could barely see, and you're like, oh crap, I'm gonna die. And then I remembered I had those Zeal sunglasses.
Yeah.
And they're like made for mountain biking.
it sounds like cliche or
Well,
maybe trivial,
That'd
but
be rad just for snowboard too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
when
like,
you're-
something different.
when you're getting after it, mountain biking or downhill skiing or going through the trees, for instance,
Yeah.
really like in conditions where
Light
it's most
changes.
advantageous. Yeah, it just takes 10 seconds to change, and it truly can be a difference of like whether or not you walk away clean or
Yeah.
with an injury,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And yeah, that lens came about after seeing the success that we had with it in our goggle collection, and so we kind of took it and merged over the technology to the sunglasses. And the people that try it on, so at first, because it's a yellow based lens, it almost feels like your eyes are on caffeine or something. It's
Yeah.
like life in HD. But yeah, if you get a chance to test it out with whatever sport you're into, it creates like the most diehard advocates for it. It's kind of funny. Yeah, and people will come back at events that we work, and they'll be like, "You have to try these," with their
Yeah,
buddy, and grab
yeah.
2 more or
I
something.
bought
So
those sunglasses like 2 years ago.
it's a game
At
changer.
One of these clinics, somebody had a 50% off Pro card, and I got it, and that's what I bought. The sunglasses.
Oh,
off their
awesome.
Website. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah,
I already owned a pair of goggles, so I thought I'd try the sunglasses.
totally. Yep, and the lens changes again from like a yellow to a persimmons in that auto sun is what we call it on the sunglass side of things. And so, yeah, you really get this just super adaptable lens, basically. Yeah, and the tech obviously is kind of the top of the line in our collections as well, and so really you're paying for both that aspect to it, the photochromic aspect, but it's still at 99% polarized efficiency, so really great for anglers, love them, trail runners. Yeah, it's for people that have maybe higher sensitivity to light, like even people with lighter irises, that could be an indicator to maybe suggest a darker lens, or just caution them against that, because there might be just a short period of time where it takes to get used to that changing higher visibility. But yeah, I think it's a game changer for sure. Did everybody get a chance to try popping the lens in and out? Try it with the cylindrical and the hatchet as well, because it's just got a slightly different feel to it. And then additionally, you guys can try swapping them with this low light lens here too.